Okay, everybody, welcome to Humanities Team's Conversation with God Book Club. I am not Nanette Kennedy, who is your normal host, but I am logged in as Nanette so that I can record this week for us. So now let us get to where we are, our book. We are reading the New Revelations, A Conversation with God. We are on chapter 27. And we will read through and finish this reading today, because that's what we did last week when we weren't able to record it. And then for everyone who doesn't know, the next book that we're going to read is The Essential Path, which is Neil's newest book. And so with that, I will go ahead and start unless there's anything anybody needs to share. And remember, when I'm reading, I can't see the chat and I can't see you when I'm reading. So if there is anything, just take yourself off mute and interrupt me if you need me to start or if you want to go back and go over something. Okay, this is chapter 27, and this is Neil to start with. God, you make it so easy, but it's not that easy. The most effective of your earthly master teachings have demonstrated that it is. Oh, here we go again. Do you think that we can be like them? They have all promised you that you can. Wasn't this their greatest promise? Many spiritual teachers have shared with you the secret that deciding who you really are and being it is the fastest means of affecting and creating your inner self and your outer world. This is not a new teaching. Yet what may be new is your decision to try it. I have tried it. The whole human race has. Do you think this is the first time we've heard these things? Do you think that we haven't tried it? I observe that many humans are scared to death to try. I mean to really try. To claim sovereignty over their own lives, to believe that God has given them that power, much less that authority. I observe that many humans are afraid to believe that the wisdom of divinity lies within them. I observe that many humans would actually feel guilty about creating a new spirituality based on having real conversations with God, forging a genuine friendship with God, and creating an experience of communion with God. I observe that fear and guilt are the biggest enemies of humans. What is it that we are so darned afraid of? Why, me, of course. Hang on a second. Why me, of course? You're afraid of death, that's clear. But the reason you're afraid of death is because of what you've been told about life and about God. Most humans are so afraid of dying that they have become afraid of living. And so they surrender their living to those who are not afraid of dying. Suicide bombers and the nations with the biggest armies and the most bombs. Yet you cannot go on like this. Your world cannot sustain itself with fear as its guiding principle. Love must become its guiding principle. Yet how can we believe in love and not be afraid of dying? We have been taught to believe in a God who loves us in very unloving ways, who then lets us die and then punishes us after death. This is why, if you wish to live in peace and harmony, you must change your world at the level of belief, one person at a time. You must start with you. And now I have given you some new tools. Here in this conversation, you've been shown some new steps that can move you away from fear into love. Here are some new revelations that can help you find the path. These are major philosophical and theological statements. They carry monumental implications for all humankind. And now I want to bring you the last of these revelations. Consider it carefully. Look deeply into its larger message. This is the 9th revelation. You cannot die, and you will never be condemned to eternal damnation. Oh my God, if that were true, it would change everything. It is true, and it will change everything the moment you decide to live it as your personal truth. Most of your world's religions have taught the first 3 words of this truth. Yet what they have said to you after those 3 words has turned this truth into a nightmare. They have told you that your soul never dies, but they have told you that your soul could spend eternity in hell. And their description of what could cause you to spend eternity in hell, as well as what could cause you to spend it in heaven, has created a hell on earth. For some religions have taught that killing others for the right reasons will send you straight to heaven, while others have taught that believing in God but doing it in the wrong way will send you straight to hell. Now, if that doesn't twist your head around, nothing will. I declare to you now that these teachings are wholly and completely inaccurate. They were brought to you, to your world, not by God, but by human beings. Human beings who assume that God must be angry, vindictive, vengeful, and retributive because humans are angry, vengeful, vindictive, and retributive. Human beings who imagine that God must be petty, nitpicking, particular, and exclusive because human beings are petty, nitpicking, particular, and exclusive. Human beings who thought that God designed eternal life based on a system of reward and punishment because human beings designed life on earth based on a system of reward and punishment. Reward and punishment, as I have pointed out, is a social convention having nothing to do with divinity. It is not a divine notion at all, but a human contrivance, replacing the divine notion of unconditional love. Reward and punishment is the human attempt to express the life principle of adaptability. Humans have created rewards and punishments in order to cause themselves to adapt their behaviors to what they imagine God wants. Yet this social convention is distorted by the fallacies that humans hold about God and life, and thus some humans exhibit behaviors that no God would ever want. There are many millions of people who do not do that, of course. People who are beautiful in the depth of their soul and who spread and share beauty wherever they go. There are people who teach only love and people who heal by their very beingness. You know all kinds of these people. It is quite possible that you are one of them. It is absolutely certain that you are seeking to be one of them, or you would hardly be engaging in the sort of personal and spiritual growth work that could lead you to this kind of conversation with God. And so to you goes humanity's thanks. On you rests humanity's hope, and in you resides humanity's highest vision. It is a vision that soars beyond humanity's limited beliefs in things that are not true. There are those who see this world as it is and ask why, and there are those who dream of things that never were and ask why not. To those who dream the dreams of angels, I declare that I will help you create that dream and turn it into reality. Thus I have come to bring you this new 9th revelation, and to now repeat it so that humanity cannot miss it and cannot ignore it, nor its implications. You cannot die, and you will never be condemned to eternal damnation. With this final new revelation comes your vision. Through it comes your freedom and your movement into your true self. When you understand that you are not your body, and that you are, and who you are never can and never will die, and when you understand that you will never be condemned by a judgmental, angry, vindictive God, then your lifelong worries about your happy survival will be over. The end of these worries will transform you completely, causing you to interact with the world in an entirely new way. You will become, quite literally, a new human. You will live, quite naturally, a new spirituality. And you will create, quite spontaneously, a new society. You will be thrilled at the new way in which you look at life, see other people, and treat them. You will be uplifted by the new priorities you will set and the new ideas that you will hold about what is important and what is not, to say nothing of what you will think is important enough to kill each other over. You will be amazed at how you have been walking around in circles all these years as if in a maze. Your entrapment in this cycle of violence has been an amazement, and your release from this cycle of violence will be achieved by your at-one-ment, or what you would call atonement. But if we thought we were never going to be judged or condemned, there would be no reason to atone for anything. And then what would stop us from acting worse than ever? Do you need the threat of eternal damnation to not hurt others? To do what is in the best interest of all? We are not convinced that it is in our best interest to act in a way that is in the best interests of all. We think it is in our best interest to act first on behalf of ourselves. Of course you do. And that instinct is a basic instinct built into all of life. It is the life principle of sustainability expressing itself. Self-interest is the highest interest, and it should be. Then I don't understand. Now you've got me really confused. If self-interest is the highest interest, and it should be, then everything else you've been saying falls by the wayside. Only if you have a very limited definition of the self. And so we come full circle. It is your false beliefs that limit your definition of the self. When you see the self as including all others, your definition of self-interest expands, and the world changes overnight. I said to you very early in this conversation that the problem now facing the world is easy to solve. The answer is obvious. Simply enlarge your definition of self. Now you are able to understand this statement more completely. Expand our definition of self. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. When you believe yourself to be one with all others, you will abandon your self-destructive behaviors. When you believe yourself to be one with God, you will create new behaviors, new ways of being that will change your life and change your world forever. The new revelations that I have given you here can serve as a catalyst in enlarging your awareness, opening you to a consciousness that will allow you to expand your definition of self. Yes, I see that now. These new revelations feel so redemptive because they deliver us from evil, telling us that ours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. They release us from fear. They allow us to love again, to love God again, and to love each other again. They give us back to ourselves. We can love ourselves again, and life, and yes, even death. Now you can believe the unbelievable, that God wants nothing but good for you. You can stop being afraid of God now. You never had to be, and you will never have to be again. You can have a conversation with God, all of you, anytime. You can have a friendship with God, all of you, anytime. Every day, you can experience communion with God, all of you, in each moment. You can release at last the thought that God wants you to suffer, that suffering is good, that you are not supposed to be happy. But what about James chapter 4, verse 8 of the New Testament? Does it not say, "Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Lament and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up." This is what I was talking about earlier. This is the religion of low self-esteem. If you wish to live in a peace and harmony, this is part of your religions that need to be reformed. I do not want your laughter to turn to mourning, nor your joy to gloom. Why on earth would I want that? There's been a slight error there. James was more than a little overzealous on this point. And was Peter in error also? He said, as recorded in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 19, quote, "Therefore let those who suffer according to the will of God commit their souls to him in doing good as a faithful creator." Yes, that was a mistake too. It is not my will that you suffer. Yet the Quran also says it's the will of Allah that some should be led to knowledge and truth, and that some will not, and some will suffer for it. Those books are in error. It is as simple as that. It is time for you to release some of the thoughts that you have been carrying about what I want and need from you. And one of the most important thoughts for you to release is the idea that I want you to kill others for my sake. But it is difficult to believe that God does not command this, especially when reading passages in all our holy books. Take this passage from the Bhagavad Gita, for example. The Gita is also a dialogue book in which Arjuna, who in a sense represents every man, has an ongoing conversation with his God, Lord Sri Krishna. In the excerpt that follows, Arjuna turns on the eve of the battle of Lord Krishna, asking how killing can be justified. Listen to Lord Krishna's answers. Arjuna, I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsman. Lord Krishna, O son of Prata, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and rise, O chastiser of the enemy. Lord Krishna goes on to explain that the soul can never die. Therefore, the self slays not, nor is slain. In other words, you may go ahead and kill the body without lamentation. Do you believe that? I believe the part that says the soul cannot die. I do not accept as my truth that this gives me permission to slay without lamentation. Why not? Because that is not who I am, nor who I choose to be. Because I wish to help create a different kind of world. I see. Most of the people of the world want that. You are right, they do. But they don't know how to get from where they are to where they want to be. Well, you can help them. You can all help each other. Build your world anew. Work together to create a new reality. First, a new inner reality, and a new outer. Begin where the human race would have benefited from beginning a long time ago. Do not change your behaviors. Do not try to change your behaviors, seek to change your beliefs. It is the beliefs that sponsor your behaviors and cause them to be endlessly repeated. I've got it. I understand that now, and I've seen, thanks to this conversation, which beliefs in particular are causing the most destructive behaviors. Those are the beliefs I'm going to look at very closely. Those are the beliefs I'm going to change. Good. Because change them you must, if what you choose is what you say you choose, which is to live long, healthy and happy lives at peace and in harmony with each other. If what you choose is the continued survival of humanity. Your species is choosing now by its actions, every hour, every day, whether to survive its adolescence and mature into adulthood, growing in understanding and eventually joining with other highly evolved species in the universe, or whether to rend itself extinct. In each moment, you are making a life and death decision. Do you choose more life, or do you choose a quicker death? When you smoke that cigarette, are you choosing more life, or are you choosing a quicker death? When you eat that huge hunk of red meat at every meal, are you choosing more life, or are you choosing a quicker death? When you go for days and weeks and months even without the slightest physical exercise, are you choosing more life, or are you choosing a quicker death? When you work yourself to the bone, pounding away 10 and 12 and 14-hour days, leaving no time for a bit of silliness, no time for an evening of leisure, no time for a moment of laughter, not even time for a hug and a squeeze and any real intimacy anymore with those who long to be intimate with you, are you choosing more life, or are you choosing a quicker death? When you squabble and argue with your family and your neighbors over matters that mean nothing, absolutely nothing, in the long run, are you choosing more life, or are you choosing a quicker death? When you fight and go to war with other nations over matters that could be resolved with just a little bit of compromise and just a little bit of trust, a willingness to forgive the past, and an awareness that the only way to create a viable future is to create it together. Are you choosing more life, or are you choosing a quicker death? When you insist on continuing to believe, as if they were true, doctrines and dogmas that are killing you, are you choosing more life, or are you choosing a quicker death? From the smallest day in and day out decisions to the largest decisions now facing the human race, are you choosing more life, or are you choosing a quicker death? Always the choice is the same, more life or quicker death. Of course, as I have said to you many times, death does not exist. The word is used here in the context within which you have understood it. It is used to mean the end of life as you have known it, individually and collectively. Within the context of the human adventure, what shall the life experience be? Indeed, what shall humans be? Or shall humans be at all? Your wonderful Shakespeare writer said it perfectly. To be or not to be, that is the question. Pause here and see if anybody has any comments. Nanette, it looks like you made it.
Yes, I just got here. Hello, everybody.
Yay.
Yeah, so I've only been listening for about 4 minutes, so I can't really make any comments except for it's good to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here. How you feeling?
Weak, but gonna get better every day. So. Asking.
More life.
Well, ladies, what do you think? Anybody want to say anything, or should we just keep reading?
What page are we on?
We're on chapter 28 now, which is page 337.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I will go on then. Now take this message to the world. Carry it to all people whose lives you touch through your own life lived. I say now to all humanity, move forward in your lives with excitement and joy, for the most extraordinary time in your history lies before you. Wondrous is the opportunity, and unlimited is your potential. The challenge is great, but your talents, your abilities, and your resources are greater. Whenever you have trusted your abilities and used your talents at the highest level, have you not always won the day? Indeed, and you can win it now. And by winning the day, you can save the day for your loved ones and for all those who will follow your time upon earth. You can do so by calling forth your highest ideals and putting them into practice in your daily experience, by collecting your grandest thoughts and turning them into realities, by gathering your courage and summoning your greatest strength and making these available to everyone. You can do so by sharing your love, your compassion, your wisdom, and your abundance. Freely have you been given, now freely give. Oh, my wonderful ones, how every room lights up when you enter it with your smile, giving of the wonder of who you are. How the lives you touch are healed when you touch them with the glory of your highest self, reflecting onto them the glory of their own highest self. How the world changes when you move through it in your own most special way, proposing by your very state of being a way the world itself might be. In order to create the life that you desire for yourself and all others, some big things need to be done. Yet the good news is that it takes but little things to do them. A smile, a touch, a laugh, a decision to forgive, a willingness to share, an ability to cry and to hear the crying of others, a love of life, a trust in God, an acceptance of each other, a choice to live as one, a determination to dare. These are the things of which you are capable. These are the things that you have all done before. Do them now and always, and you are but one step from paradise. Is this not exciting? Is this not inspiring? With these simple tools of life, you can change your life. With the wisdom that rests within your soul, you can recreate your world anew. I have said that this is a crucial time, and it is. I have said that this is a defining moment, and it is. I have said that in the past, many humans have been unwilling to change, unwilling to come forward, unwilling to become unstuck. They have stuck to their old ways and to the old beliefs that have sponsored them. But this is the dawn of a new day, and you can help give it birth. For all that I have said about the past will become a part of the past the moment that you decide you are the future. That in your mind lies the wisdom, that in your heart lies the love, and that in your soul lies the truth that will set your world free. For you are all the wisdom, love, and truth that any moment will ever need for that moment to be healed. Your life and your world can be healed one moment at a time by each of you. In fact, that is the only way it will be. So go now and do this joyous work. Be now my messenger. Take now my new revelations and place them firmly in your mind, deeply in your heart, and permanently in your soul. These words I leave you with you. These gifts I give to you. They can change your world forever. 1. God has never stopped communicating directly with human beings. God has been communicating with and through human beings from the beginning of time. God does so today. 2. Each human being is as special as every other human being who has ever lived, lives now, or ever will live. You are all messengers, every one of you. You are carrying a message about life. You are carrying a message to life, about life, every day, every hour, every moment. 3. No path to God is more direct than any other path. No religion is the, quote, one true religion, close quote. No people are, quote, the chosen people, close quote. And no prophet is, quote, the greatest prophet, close quote. 4. God needs nothing. God requires nothing in order to be happy. God is happiness itself. Therefore, God requires nothing of anyone or anything in the universe. 5. God is not a singular super being living somewhere in the universe or outside of it, having the same emotional needs and subject to the same emotional turmoil as humans. That which is God cannot be hurt or damaged in any way, and so has no need to seek revenge or impose punishment. 6. All things are one thing. There is only one thing, and all things are a part of that one thing that is. 7. There is no such thing as right and wrong. There is only what works and what does not work, depending on what it is that you seek to be, do, or have. 8. You are not your body. Who you are is limitless and without end. And 9. You cannot die, and you will never be condemned to eternal damnation. These statements are true. These revelations are real. They can be used, if you choose, as one basis for a new spirituality. Yet turn first and foremost to the truth and the wisdom and the love within your own being. Test everything against that. Measure everything by it. Remember that the greatest tool you will ever have, with which to create not only a new spirituality, but a new world, is your own life lived. Use the moments of your life to demonstrate your own highest truth, to offer your own genuine love, and to heal every wound that you and others have inflicted upon yourselves. Your lives do not have to be the way they are. Human beings are capable of living together in peace and harmony. Yet some people must decide to show the way. Some people must declare with their lives that they are the way. Some people must choose to be the first domino. I am inviting you to make that choice. I am inviting you to make the moments of your own life the new revelations. I'll pause here, and you can tell me if you want me to go on, finish the closing, or if we want to talk. Well, I guess I will just go on and finish the closing, and then we can talk at the end. So this is really, I think, Neil here in closing. On the pages of this extraordinary book, we have been given all the information we need to change our lives and bring healing to our world. The only question remaining is, will we choose to do it? Right now, humanity needs help. God has given us help, and now we must come. And now help must come from you. Yes, it's up to you now, you and me. We've got to join the others, the politicians, the soldiers, the economists, the industrialists, the corporate people, the religious leaders, and all those we have put in charge in the past. We've got to join them and help them see the kind of world we really wish to create, because so far they have not produced the outcomes that we all say we desire. Our world is still on the brink of global calamity, and it is moving closer to, not further away from total destruction, self-destruction. We can no longer ignore the fact that our leaders and our society's institutions have been doing is not working. Look around. Corporate giants are crumbling, brought down by their own self-serving accounting lies. Churches have lost their credibility due to their own shameless hypocrisy. Armies in the thousands and military budgets in the billions have become meaningless in the face of a half dozen people who don't care if they die. And what is supposedly the fairest and most democratic political system on earth cannot get a presidential election right. So now it's up to the regular folks, the untitled people, to become members of the team, to lead the team. We're going to have to get in there with the others, become leaders ourselves as we rebuild our world one person at a time, one family, one village, one town, one city, one state, one nation, one idea, and one moment at a time. We've waited long enough. We must now get about the task, each one of us, of changing the prevailing notion of who we are in relationship to each other and of what life is really about. This book gives us the tools with which to do that. All that's needed now is commitment. We have to care. We have to dare. We have to share. We have to care enough to be our very best. We have to dare enough to be that now. And we have to share enough to touch the whole world, each in our own way, with the shining light of our love and the truth of who we really are and who we choose to be. What we need right now is a new idea within humanity about humanity itself. An idea that could create enormous and lasting change in how we see and experience ourselves and how we live our lives. The challenge we are going to face is that many people don't want to change. Some don't believe that change is possible, while others don't believe that humanity is facing any real peril at all. Still others simply don't seem to have the will to do what it takes to make a difference. Yet a golden age of peace is within our reach. All that is needed now is the will to create it. All things are created with three basic tools: understanding, ability, and will. We have at last the understanding and the ability. Will is the final element in every choice-making process. It is the ultimate tool of creation. Where there is a will, there is a way. Without the will, we can do nothing. Standing before an audience in Zurich in the spring of 2002, I talked about the human resistance to change, even in the face of potentially disastrous results from failing to do so. Quote, "We want this life to hang on to our ancient beliefs and prejudices and behaviors, and we do not want to change them or even have them be seriously challenged, even though we say we are begging for a different kind of world. We could have the solution put right in front of us, and most of us would not avail ourselves of it. We don't want to change. We don't want to let go. We want everybody else to change. We want the world to change, but we don't want our world to change. Yet if we want the world to change, we had better start looking at the striking contradictions in our own behaviors. I'm not different from you. I have not corrected most of my serious self-defeating behaviors any more than you have. So this is not the pot calling the kettle black. I'm right here with you. But this much I know. If we don't now help each other, support each other, challenge each other, lift each other to a new level of awareness, then, my friends, we're all going down together. And I don't want that for us. We can do better than that. We can change our lives and our world. But we must deeply desire to do so. And we must commit to starting here, right where we are, not over there where that other person is. So I challenge you to challenge me. Wherever you see me behaving in a way that is less than you know me to be, or that brings me results you know I do not even want, you tell me so. Not critically, not angrily, but with love. Simply say, I know that's not who you are. I know that's not what you really choose, and I would like to give you back to yourself. And then give me permission to do the same for you. If we will do that for each other, the sky is the limit. And now I'll say the same thing to you who are reading this book. Let's wake each other up. Let's end our long global nightmare. Let's be the beacons that shows the world when the others become lost. Let's be bringers of the light. Let's be the first domino. As the book says, we will be most effective when we choose to work at this together as a collective. There are many ways to do this. One way would be to join with the Conversations with God Foundation, our nonprofit education organization, as partners in the joint creation. The mission of the foundation is to inspire people everywhere to be the change they wish to see. Our desire is to render the CWG message accessible and understandable in the fastest way to the largest number of people. The Conversation with God's Foundation produces books, audio cassettes, videotapes, interactive online and email courses, and other educational materials, and also presents classes, retreats, and seminars. If you're excited about the foundation in this book as we are, and if you believe that it would serve the world to have as many people as possible become aware of this material, you may wish to play a personal role in creating that outcome. Our Inspire the World campaign offers you a chance to do so in a very direct way by partnering with us in sharing your talents, your time, energy, and resources. There is much you can do. To learn more, please go to www.inspiretheworld.com, which will take you directly to the campaign page on our main website. If you are not on the internet, you can contact the foundation office, the Conversations with God Foundation, PMB 1150, 1257 Siskiyou Boulevard, which is Siskiyou Boulevard, Ashland, Oregon. The zip is 97520, and the phone is 541-482-8806. Our foundation also maintains a worldwide directory and a resource network of people and organizations seeking to connect with others and gather new energy as they work to uplift and enhance all of life on this planet by being the change they wish to see. To plug into this network, go to www.beingthechange.net. If you feel personally called to explore actively partnering with us, our main website offers you comprehensive information on who we are and what we are doing, as well as additional learning and study opportunities should you choose to delve more deeply into the extraordinary material in the With God series of books. Included in those offerings is a 16-week interactive email course and an online paced self-study course in the New Revelations, helping you to integrate its powerful messages into your everyday life. You may immediately access all of this and connect with us directly at our main internet address, www.cwg.org. I'm very grateful that you were led to this book and that you chose to read it all the way through to the end. Even if you and I ultimately disagree on the way to a brighter tomorrow, we can at least know that we seek the same end. This commonality of purpose is the beginning of unity, and the unity of intention can heal the world. Life proceeds out of our intentions for it, and I know that if the world changes, it will be because of you and others like you who choose to make a difference through our day-to-day lives. May you experience God's blessings in abundance, and may you share them with all those lives you touch. Neale Donald Walsch, London, April 15th, 2002. The end. Although there is an index, but I don't think we're going to go through the index.
Thank you, Linda.
I could do the meditation real quick.
That's fine with me.
Thank you, God, for this remarkable book and for letting every one of us, especially Nanette, be here now. Thank you that Linda, Sarah, Angela, Mary, Anne, and I are joining with Nanette to thank you for giving us the will to create the intention to make the world what it needs to be now. Amen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shabana.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Shabana.
You're welcome.
Linda, do you have the title for the book that we're supposed to start next week?
Yeah. Let's see. I touched on that at the beginning as well. The Essential Path.
Okay, I've got that written down. And thank you, Linda, for taking things over here.
And I recorded it to the cloud, Nanette, so you should be able to retrieve it without any trouble.
Okay, and just so everybody knows, I am in residence physical rehab, so I will do my best to do what I done as fast as possible. I'm sure you've all heard last weekend, and I don't recommend it to anybody. So I got out of the hospital a couple of days ago, and now I'm in I don't know what they call it. You're in-house. You don't get to leave here because you need medical attention still. So I am trying my best to keep my head above water. And just before I was coming onto this call, I met a young man. I think he said he was 41 years old. And I've heard him talking to people in the hallway. His name is John. He's got cerebral palsy. And when he was crossing the street in his wheelchair, a car hit him. So he broke his left leg. And when I first said, "Hi, I'm Nanette," and he said, "Hi, I'm John," I said, "Well, how you doing?" He goes, "Well, I've got nothing to complain about." And then he told me a little bit of his own story. So I will pull it together too, and we all can. And I do appreciate any thoughts and prayers because it ain't easy. So I love you all, and again, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Shabana. And glad Sarah and Angela and Linda and Mary are here. And I'm glad I'm here. I love you all. And we'll, unless anybody's got anything else they want to say, we'll meet up again next week.
And Anne's here as well.
Oh, Ann, sorry. I think I called you Linda. I meant to say Ann.
And there was somebody at the beginning, both this week and last week, that ended up not staying, and they weren't the same people. So I don't know what we can do about that. Trying to get people to stay. They show up, but then they don't hang in.
Well, maybe, this is just off the top of my head, is we read shorter blurbs and stop and say, does anybody have any comments or questions?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just off the top of my head.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week.
All right. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everybody. Love
Good
you all.
healing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello? Hello? Ann?
Hello.
Ann? Hi. Oh, good. You didn't hang up yet.